I know how to spell it. Sorry.
Did you have my book with you? Yeah.
All right, guys. So WinFlex, WIN Flex, F-L-E-X, and then web.com. WinFlex.com. That's going to be a website we're going to all have access to once you have contracting with all your carriers, or even with one. Doesn't matter. You'll be able to use WinFlex. You'll go on to WinFlex.com, and then you'll create an account. I'll require you to create an account like any other website. And then, obviously, I'm not going to get myself out of the login here, because we all know how to create an account, and you put your agent information, your state license, etc. Right? So let's say, fast forward to you guys already did that. So now we log in. And then when you first come on here and you haven't had any, you don't have access to any of the carriers, AIG, Foresters will be the exception with WinFlex. You won't be able to run illustrations for permanent, insurance, and all those other carriers, and term, etc. For Foresters specifically, but protective.
Do we have to be appointed to create an account?
You have to have, you have to request. So I'll show you guys how we do this. So basically, you do have to have an agent number with whoever it is you're trying to get appointed with, right? So you create your WinFlex account. Now when you create your WinFlex account, you're going to go to your profile. In your guys' case, you wouldn't have any companies that you've already appointed to. So this is where you're going to go in, and like I said, you log in, you go to the right where your name is, you go to profile, the top right, you click on that, and when you get into my profile, you're going to have the option on the top left here. Let me zoom in. There's my profile, add companies, add agency, etc. You're going to click on add companies. When you add companies, you're going to see that some of them will require you on the far right. There'll be a red arrow. Yeah, it's just a red arrow icon where you will have to put your agent number, your current agent number. Some of them will require your agent number, so you already have to be contracted in order to appoint so that you can run these illustrations. Others won't. But as you can see the list here, you can click on multiple AIG. You could go down to what's going on here? AIG, Mutual of Omaha. We have American National, Protective, Transamerica. Some of them will let you get appointed right away. Protective was the one, they were really, really strict about it, and they gave me like a 3-week waiting period, and then they gave me like an actual, they'll call you, and they'll tell you like you've been approved and you've been appointed. So I don't know why I went that way, but some of them will just let you just basically request that. So what you do is you click on the left-hand side, wherever that company is. So let's say we're going to appoint with Transamerica. You would click on Transamerica. You would click that company, and then on the right, you would put your Transamerica agent ID number if it requires it. So in this case, it does because it's got that red little arrow. So then at the bottom, you go into place request here, and you just place the request. Do it individually for companies, okay? I got in the habit of trying to do them all at once. Just try to do one at a time. It just kept shooting back all these errors and stuff, so I learned that doing it one at a time was the best way to do it. So once you're there and you've gotten appointed and you have access to the carriers you want to run quotes for, now here we are, right? So I have on the top left, you logged in, you've already been appointed. Now you're going to click on illustrations. And I'm going to show you guys how to run 2 illustrations. One is going to be for a term product, and the other one's going to be for a permanent GUL. Okay, so you click on Start New Case. Now you guys see the companies I'm appointed with is AIG, and it's AIG. There's two different ones you could have for AIG. You could have AIG, not the Partners Group QOL, because that's the one with the living benefits. And then there's AIG, just the regular one. I didn't even appoint with that one. I just want the QOL to run quotes for that. I have American National here. I have Mutual of Omaha and Protective Life. I'm going to run one for Protective Life. Protective Life has this cool term where It's called the custom choice UL, where if I'm a 60-year-old lady, sorry, I'm a 70-year-old lady and I want a 15-year term, and then what's going to happen to me when I turn 85? My term's going to fizzle out, right? I'm done. So no one in life is going to insure me. So, well, forget that, right? I want to make sure that this person still has some insurance. So that's where we go with Protective Custom Choice UL. It's this term product that acts as a term because you buy the 15-year term when you're when you're 70 to run you till 85. And then at 85, unlike any other carrier in the world that I know of, boom, unless you convert it to permanent, which is not even an option because you bought it at 70 and within the first year you had to have done that. This is not an option for you no more. Your insurance is just done. And you could convert to permanent, but it's going to be very expensive and no one does that. So what Protective does is that this term is on it functions on a UL chassis. So if you buy the term, the guarantee to pay that face amount for that premium, and then at the 15-year mark when you're 85 and it would have just fizzled out because you can't afford it, they tell you, guess what? We won't raise the premium for you, but we will start decreasing the face amount. So I'll show you guys an example of a 20-year term. So I'm going to do it with Protective Life. And these are they have many, keep in mind that the custom choice UL, classic choice, I'm sorry. No, custom choice. That's the one that will allow you to provide that type of product for your client. So we start new case, we pick Protective. So here, let me zoom out a little bit. At the top, you'll have insured, solve for, policy options and stuff. So I'm just going to go over the ones that you actually have to fill in. So insured, obviously, I'm going to put Carla M. I am a female, and let's see, I'm 30 now, so 58. 6, 22, 19, 58. I want to make me a 60-year-old lady, 61-year-old lady. And I am a preferred, blah, blah, blah. I'm in California. So all of this you do have to fill in. The state, don't worry, unless you already know this person is, let's say you already got them approved with AIG with a table 4 or a table D, A, B, C, D, do the numbers. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Protective does table ratings and numbers. So you would have to be non-tobacco, and then you would have to go with table 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So in this case, we're going to go with no table rating. So if you needed to have a non-tobacco rating, a tobacco rating, select a preferred, whatever, you can do that. I'm going to go with my client being preferred. She doesn't smoke. She has no special, I have no special rating. Then I'm going to go to solve for. That's your next one. Solve for, you're going to go for premium. Considering this is just a term, we're going to stick with premium. And I am going to say I want 200,000. 20 years, and then we go over to policy options. Here, all you have to do is switch to monthly.
What was the, say, like the income provider in the solve for? On the bottom, if you click on that, you state the income provider option. It's in the term too, or no?
No. Just ignore that. Don't click on that. When you go to solve for, depending on the carrier, you just want to go with premium and you want to go with face amount. Sometimes you'll have face amount and premium, and that's when we're going to deal with permanent. I'll show you guys how to do that. But for right now, it's just a quote for a term, specifically for Protective. Then we go into policy options. Here, you always want to go into switch the premium mode to monthly, because obviously it's going to look very ridiculous of a quote for your client if you go to annual. So monthly PAC. This is the only company, and I want to make that note, and please make a note on, whatever you're taking notes on. With Protective, they are the only company that, okay, you're going to have some of our in-house clients that have cash value in their accounts, right? They'll have X amount of dollars there, and we are able to, one, use that money to 1035 rollover, right? That's we're calling it a 1035 rollover, to apply that money to supplement the cost of their insurance. That's obviously going to rise. No one in life is going to let you, like, I have an AIG client right now, got approved, he has 10 grand. He could just run with it and use that to basically supplement the additional cost he's going to have with like $80 more a month now. He could use that towards his insurance, or with Protective, but that's the thing though, he got approved for a new term, so now he has to surrender that money and take it and use it, or he has to just do something else with it, roll it over somewhere else, right? But that would have been for a permanent product. For a term, he would just have to cash it out or just let it basically eat away at the cash value and still have coverage. With protective, they will let you take money that's in a cash value and roll it over and apply it to a term, which is bananas. So like, let's say I had a previous policy, because I'm a 60-year-old lady, and I had a previous policy that had $5,000 in it, I could take that cash value and 1035 roll it here, and this is where you would be able to put external, because obviously it would be an external. It would not be an internal because I don't have any protective clients that are in-house that have cash with them. So it would obviously be an external 1035 exchange amount, and you would plug that in there, and you would put this client has $5,000 coming in from previous place, 1035 rolling of it. Now factor in those $5,000 into the next 20 years, and how much will that save her for this new monthly premium? That's really crucial for our in-house clients where AIG is kind of not going to be a good option for them. We could go with protective, we could get them their money back. If they don't care for the money, some clients you'd be surprised. I'm like, I have $15,000 for you. They're like, I don't care, I just want the insurance, you know. Apply to this, we roll it over, it makes a big significant difference. I've had clients go from like $300 a month to like $180 a month based on their 1035 amount being rolled over. So that's really, really key with protective, guys. So obviously we don't have any 1035 amount scenario we're going to apply here. We go to policy riders. If you have, I suggest you guys do this, please, early on, educate yourselves on riders, okay? Know what you can offer your clients additionally. Disability riders, accidental death benefit, child term riders, etc. You know, some clients have 5 kids, whatever, you know, and they could get them all insured for $5 a month, all 5 of them, you know, $1 each, and they could have coverage for their kid. God forbid something happens to them, you know. So it's one of those things where I had one client, she's 30 years old, her mom became disabled at 41 and had a policy in place for her retirement. And 10 years into her retirement, paying into it, she's like, I'm disabled now. If she would have had that disability rider, the company would have paid off the whole premium for the rest of her life because she became disabled for an additional $10 a month that she would have paid, you know. So educate yourselves on those riders, guys. So I'm not going to get too much into the riders, but the riders are options, and you'll factor them in. And then we go to custom concept. All of these things, honestly, unless you really know what you're offering the client and they want it, you're going to bypass it. You're going to go into output options. You're going to bypass that. And then you'll put your name there. And then we're at Harbor. The reason why I like to put my agent information there, I don't put it all, but it's just that when you're done with all of this, you're going to go to the top. So, all right, so let me just touch base real quick. You go in here, you run an illustration, you go to insured, put the client's name, birthday, the type of class you want to put the offer for, solve for premium, face amount. We'll leave that alone for right now. You just put the face amount there, and you want to make sure that the years here are matching with the product that you're selecting up there. So the Protective Custom Choice 20, matching it with the 20 years here. Policy options, always go to monthly because it will always be at annual. If you have a 1035 amount to apply, cool, do it. If not, move on along. And then we get into agent info. You put your name and the address we're at, and then you're going to go up here. So let me zoom out a little, and you're going to go to calculate. Keep in mind these illustrations, the reason why I like them when you're running them is that if there's an error, it'll tell you right away. We can't issue this illustration. I tried to run one for an 87-year-old lady earlier, and as soon as I plugged in her birthday, just the red mark. It tells you, and then you'll click on it, and it'll tell you the valid age is from 18 to 80. So you realize this isn't even something we could offer you. Okay, so once the summary is generated for you, it would be here, Protective Life Custom Choice 200,000 UL, and then the PDF is right there. You click on it, boom, it generates that illustration for you. It's a really nice one, the way they do this. It'll have the Protective Custom Choice UL. I'll give you the name of the agent, you know, our address. So obviously that makes it more legit, you know, makes it one, the client knows who to talk to if they have any information. But this is the part of the illustration I really like with Protective, is that it really demonstrates everything the client's going to pay and the contract they're going to get themselves into. So this client here, Carla, at age 61, you know, I'm preferred. I want a $200,000 policy. Sorry, let me make sure. I want a $200,000 policy for 20 years, and I'm at preferred, right? So my quote here is $100 a month for $200,000 at age 61. Now, the way to read these illustrations is that it'll start it here. The first year, in a year, I'll be 62, right? And you see my premium for the whole year, it'll be $1,200, and my death benefits $200,000. So that's what, at age 61. So 61 plus 20, its coverage is going to be good till I'm 81, correct? But let's scroll down here. What happens at 81? Boom. My coverage is still $1,200 a month, $200,000. And what happens at 82 when I'm no longer insurable? I probably would have lost the coverage anywhere else, right? But with Protective, you don't lose the coverage. You just lose the guarantee that you have the same face amount. Some coverage is better than no coverage, right? And me telling you, hey, it's going to be $12,000 a month instead of, it'll still be $100 a month. But hey, guess what, Carla? It's no longer $200K. It's gonna fizzle down to a little less. Some coverage is better than none, right? So now we're at $68,000 for $100 a month at 81 years old, 82. We can't really get anything else anywhere else. So this is all we're gonna deal with, right? And the older you get, the more susceptible you are to die. But this company believes that they will always leave you a final expense. So now, sorry, I'm going a little fast here. We went from 81. After my policy should have lapsed at 81 for 200,000, it went down to 68,000, and the premium just remains the same, all the way to the point where they guarantee it to a ridiculous age of 121. But you'll get down to the point, let's say here, at 100 years old, Carla, 60-year-old Carla, who bought this policy at 60, so 40 years later, I'm still paying $100 a month, and now my policy has become a final expense at age 100. So I have 10,000. Yeah, my family can still put me in the ground, you know, somewhat comfortably maybe, but significantly every single year, my face amount's going down. Some people find that some of our older individual clients find a lot of value in that because they realize, yeah, you're right. For me, it's term insurance, and I just want the security now, and afterwards, I'm 80. Like, I'm not going to really need it, and I don't, you know, it's not that much of a necessity. They love this. The people that want legacies and they're like, nope, I'm here to leave $500K when I die, then it's not really an option, you know. So then this illustration, like I said, it's run to a ridiculous amount of to a ridiculous age of 121. Sure. And then the illustration just goes in. I tell you guys one thing, I've learned a lot about being able to inform my clients about what they're getting into by reading one basic illustration on a term, a UL, a IUL, run an illustration, read everything in it, and I guarantee you'll know that product like the back of your hand. It's ridiculous, but it's you have to put in the time. So if my client tells me I want a child rider or I want this, yeah, I'll call sales support and I'll be like, hey, this client, I know it's an option for them. How much more will it cost them? As opposed to me trying to figure out if that's even an option, what we have available, you know. So I encourage you guys to do that if you really want to know what you're pushing, right? So now that was our term product, right? Keep in mind, I'll do a quick one right now. You could do that for AIG. You could do this. I don't run term quotes here for Foresters, AIG. I do come up here for Protective because Protective gives me that nice illustration that I want to show the client. For me, that brings a lot of value. But if you were to do a quote for a term here, I don't even know if we have that option. Yeah, QOL Flex term. And you know, it's like the QOL Rapid Rater. Same thing. You start new case. KX. I'm going to be a male now, and then things have changed in this past few minutes. I'm going to be in Alabama, and we're going to go with Slaw for, I don't know, $1 million. Let's just go across the board, right? And you switch it over to monthly when you go to policy options. Riders, I'm not going to add any riders here. Always put your agent info, default agent. We'll put it here, and then we're going to calculate. You're going to get a quote that won't be like the grid ones that the QL Rapid Rater is now offering, which I really love because now you can tell before we used to go show up to the client with these specific quotes, and it was like, you're 33, you're probably standard, or we'll figure it out, but if you're not, here's that additional quote where you might come out at. I love the new wrap. I would suggest if you're going to do a term quote for AIG, go with the rapid rater, because it's just like, hey, you could be here standard, but if you're better, you're here. But if you're not, we're going to have to look at other options, but at least you know where you fall under, okay? I'm not making this up. So then you click on that one there, the term quote, it generates it for you, and it does an illustration, and it tells you for this client who's 31 years old, I would be preferred plus monthly, 23 bucks a month for, whoa, I need to get this, 23 bucks a month for $1 million in Alabama. Well, it's pretty much the same probably.
You can hear.
I gotta pass a physical soon. The heck? I didn't know that was a real option for me. Anyway, sorry guys. So yeah. So this illustration, like I said, it's a little more complex to read. The client's probably just gonna be like 8 pages of jargon. They're not really gonna understand it, as opposed to QOL blocks. Here's where you are. So the WinFIex, I would suggest use it more for specifically protective, the term quotes there. And now let's run a new one. This is my favorite ones to run. I use this. WinFIex for me is used mostly for IULs, protective, and what's the other one? Permanent, GULs. So I'm going to go with Start New Case, and now I'm going to go with AIG Partners Group QOL, the QOL product that we rave about, the quality of life, which means they have ABRs, which is Accelerated Benefit Riders, living benefits in a nutshell. So I'm going to go with AIG Partners Group QOL, and then here you have the option of the products. On the far right, I have the QOL Guarantee Plus 2. That's the permanent insurance we run illustrations for. So that's the one you would pick, and then I create a client. So, Carla, I'm a female. Yeah, take it easy, Prabhat. Good luck out there.
Recording, right?
1988. I'm preferred, and then I'm going to be in Alabama. You know what? I'm going to make me older. 58. Okay, so with these, this is where it gets a little more complex when you solve for. So you have your insured information, you put their info, birthday, if they're preferred, if you already know they're not preferred, they're standard, you can do that. And then you go to solve for, right? Solve for with permanent, not with terms. With term, we just put face amount. That's what we're solving for. With solve for with the GUL product, you have to be specific about what you want. Do you want face amount, or do you want premium, or do you just want no solve, enter face and premium, right? Sometimes clients believe, I want 500,000. Sorry, let's go lower. This person's older. They want 200,000 and they want to pay $100 a month. It's probably not going to add up, right? We could run it, but it won't. So then you have other clients that are like, you know what? I want just specific face amount. And this is one thing I need you guys, or I would suggest you guys to get really aware of, is the guaranteed age and pay premium till, right? You will screw your client over if you just leave the guaranteed age till 105, because then what that's going to do is just going to give them a generic, almost like a term, a guarantee for 20 years, and then after that 20-year mark, based on the premium they were spending, if the cash value performed at the percentage it was supposed to be performing at, technically that money should help them, run out till their term is over. Sorry, their permanent policy. That seems to not be the case. So one thing it has not been the case in the past. So one thing we're getting really specific about is putting the guaranteed age. I'm a 61-year-old lady, and I want to make sure I have coverage till I'm 81. So that's 21 years, right? But then I'm like, you know what? No, maybe till 90, because then what happens if I don't die at 81? Maybe 90, right? So 90 is the golden year. I want guaranteed that if I live till 90, the premium is going to be guaranteed till then. So premium, let's say I'm willing to pay $300 a month. I want no living benefits. Cool. That's one way to do it, face amount, or you can do premium, which I will admit to you guys, I find this really weird because when I put face amount, it should let me put in the face amount. But when I put in premium, it does the vice versa. And I thought it was a glitch at first. It just always does it that way. So I don't know what to tell you. When I put premium, it allows me to put in face amount. And when I put in face amount, it allows me to put in the actual premium. So I can see, I mean, you guys understand what I'm talking about, right? Like, it's a little confusing, but just play with it. All right, fine. I want premium amount, sorry, face amount. I want guaranteed premium till the age of 90. And I want my client to have 250,000. So now disbursements, you're gonna go leave that alone. Policy options, remember, we switch it always to monthly. If with these policies here, there will be like 70% of the time, you will have cash value that either the client has the option to roll over or keep to themselves. So in this case, if it's an AIG client, then it would be considered an internal 1035 amount that we would be rolling over. And we'll get into that later because I'll just mention it right now. If you have a cash value account with a client with AIG, let's say he has $10,000 and he can only surrender $7,000. What happens to the $3,000? AIG would just take it, right? It's the surrender fee. But that's because they're surrendering the policy. In this case, if they got approved for a whole new product with AIG and they're going to take that money they built with AIG to apply to another product with AIG, that's an internal rollover. So internally, they have to apply the full amount. If they had $10,000, we have to roll over the full amount. They'll try to give you this whole BS of like, no, well, they surrendered the policy. No, they didn't. They replaced it and they did a 1035 rollover. And I fought for my clients a lot. I had a husband and wife. One of them, they approved all the internal rollover, and then the other one, they tried to treat it as an external. And it was like a $14,000 big mistake on there, and that I'm like, I'll just move the business elsewhere. Like, you guys are tripping. You're not going to do this to a husband and wife, and the man's treated one way and the woman's another way, So I took it there. I was like being a sexist about it. Like, well, why does the man get this kind of, exception? So they knew, okay, we made a mistake here. So I realized that after I noticed that it was a glitch on their end, depending on who's the case manager, they don't realize that if we're dealing with internal replacements with AIG and the client got approved with AIG and we're going to stay with AIG, we preserve the business for you. So why should my client be penalized for this, right? So that's considered an internal 1035 amount that you will put the full amount into, okay? So just a side note. Okay, so then discounts, you ignore that. Riders, you could even see here, cool, with the riders, the client is, hesitant or asking, do I get the terminal, the chronic, the critical? Even when you're doing the illustration here, you can see that it's already included in there, right? We have the accidental death benefit. There's the spouse rider. I didn't even know we have that. Terminal illness. Okay, so then if there's riders you're going to add, you could put that. And then you get into the agent info, which like I said, I suggest you guys always get in the habit of doing that, because if you leave these illustrations behind, they have to have some information, where who gave me this, who did it for me. And this cool thing about WinFIex is that once you have an account, you could click save and it'll have all your agent information saved for you pre-done, so you don't really have to do all this stuff. So then now we go to the far and we calculate. And if it does not want to calculate for you, it'll give you immediately a red notice telling you why. Maybe the face amount isn't matching or it's not enough for you. Sometimes certain clients, they only want to pay 150. They're 61 years old, and for the face amount they want, it's not adding up. So it's like, okay, we have to put more money in here in order for this to even generate a quote for us. It takes a few minutes to generate. I've had this happen to me sometimes at clients' house where I'm using my hotspot, and my hotspot's obviously not as fast as you close this out. Sorry, it's not as fast as the Wi-Fi is not as strong as the hotspot, so it will sometimes just take forever to load. So if you're able to run these illustrations before you even get to your client, boom. Okay, so this is the QL Guarantee +2 illustration. This is why I say put your name, it tells you who the agent is, address, the date. And then you get into this quote here. For $250,000, oh, and this is what I love to show you guys why it's so important. My initial death benefit is $250, right? It's leveled. Initial premium is $257 a month. Premium is going to be monthly. The death benefit's guaranteed to what age? Till age 90, right? My premiums are going to be paid to how many years? 30 years. Will my policy grow cash value in there, and could I possibly keep my my insurance past 90 if I outlive my policy? Yes, it's a permanent life insurance, and it possibly has had cash value where just right at 90, it's not just going to fizzle out for you or nothing. We'll be able to make some adjustments if that's going to be the case. Maybe even, I don't know, adjustments could be made at that point, but you're still in a point where even though you're not insurable because of your age, you still have a product that's still active. So then, and then this would be your, and this is a great thing that I want to mention to you guys. With permanent life insurance or with these GULs, what would be your premium for $257? Let me do something real quick right here, because this is important for us as agents. What would be the annualized premium? $30.84, right? So $30.84 would have been the annualized premium for $257 a month, right? But they pay us on an annual target of $37, so that's $700 more. They pay you more for GULs. And if you have an internal, let me run that example real quick, see if it'll do it for me. If you have, let's say this client here has an internal amount of, let's make it juicy. Let's make this fun. Yeah. Internal, let's do 12,000. Let's see what that does for me. So if you guys remember, this client here is at $250 a month, $257, and my target premium is $3,700, right? Does something, but look at what it does for your freaking premium. Okay, $250. Look at what 12,000 rolled over into this client's account would do for them. Brings them down from what was their premium? 257, 179. That's almost $100 in saving. Some clients, like I said, they don't care to take out their money. They don't want to be taxed on it. This is why they grew it, to use it for their cost of insurance. So now, still the same thing. Guaranteed till 90. 1035 amount will show. It doesn't show it there. But look at what it does. Oh, it does. Internal 1035 amount 12,000. Wait, what happened here? Our annual target premium is different. I mean, it's the same. Okay, so this example was not a good example, but every single time there's a credit applied or a 1035 amount, it literally, I've had a client who was paying like $150 a month, and their target premium was like $5,000 or something. You know what I mean? Because of the amount they were rolling over. So depending on what you're able to save over and bring over to AIG and roll over, it will count towards your commission.
Even if it's still an internal rollover?
Specifically if it's an internal rollover. External rollovers apply too. Like let's say you have a Transamerica client.
Well, that would make sense. An external would make sense to me because they're getting money that they didn't have, but that $12,000 was already. But internal, AIG.
I think the way why internal it makes sense is that because if this client got approved with AIG, it could have gotten approved with someone else, and I could have moved the business elsewhere. But I salvaged the business and I kept it with you guys. And the 12,000 we had, we're gonna apply it. And then in this case, you're actually paying AIG right up the front, the 12,000, instead of leaving it in the cash value for the client. You know. So this is the way we do the GUL quotes. And then I like these because it gives you additional information regarding your accelerated benefit riders. And this is crucial for me because the clients are very hesitant about these living benefits, and they're like, what is this new concept you're talking about, right? here I like it on the first page where it starts describing on the accelerated benefit riders. It'll tell you the accelerated benefit riders for critical, chronic, and terminal illness are 3 valuable riders automatically included in your policy at no additional cost that allow you to access all or part of your QL, living benefits product. So I love showing that to the client if I feel like there's any, they're a little older and they're like, what is this new insurance you speak of? I've never heard of it, And then it follows into hypothetical examples. And I'll even tell you what's a qualifying chronic illness, what's a qualifying critical, terminal illness. But then here, down below, it'll give you, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this one, guys. I get jazzed about these with the IULs. This one here, you're able to show your client from year 1 of the term, 62. It'll show them here, their policy, their face amount, and then it'll show them here at 90. It's at 0, right? The death benefit's 0, but that's because the guaranteed's only guaranteed till 90. Will she drop her insurance? Will it fall off? No. We'll probably have to make some adjustments before then, So I like to show the clients that so that they're able to know I'm guaranteed till 90. It shows here that we're good. Any questions? I wanted to get really with Protective, like I said, those little specific notes. That's the only carrier that will accept a 1035 rollover, and because we're in a Because we're in a position where we have in-house clients and a lot of them do have cash value. Like I just got handed this lead with a client with 38 grand in their cash value, but they're 87 years old. And I'm like, what do we do with this? And it's these situations where having these access to these illustrations with different carriers and basically you trying to save some time by not calling the carrier and going through sales support, running the quotes here, and then figuring out, is this something that will work for the client? Because immediately WinFIex will kick you out. It'll tell you, hey, you want to run an 87-year-old quote, you want to run a quote for an 87-year-old with this much cash value, and immediately, right when I put the birthday, it gives me this number, this high, the birthday, it's actually highlighted in red. And then when I click on the link, it tells me the valid age is this and this. So every carrier will tell you what the valid age is or the valid face amount is, so that you're not very confused as to, do they offer $50,000 for non-med or non-med, etc. It'll always tell you this is where the error is, fix it, and then try to run a new quote,
So Carla, I'd like to just accentuate for things. Number one, how many carriers are you contracted with, for example?
In total?
Yeah.
Like 6, 7.
And so you're using WinFIex for specifically.
I'll tell you guys right here. I'll show you. WinFIex, honestly, it's not for. It's going to be so cost effective if you do term. If you run term quotes here, it's like why,
Right.
Illustrations. I'll show you guys here what I do.
I've been using the Rapid Rater.
Yeah, that's the one.
It seems pretty
The Rapid Rater for AIG. There's another one for AIG I really like. I'll show you guys right now real quick since we're on here. But anyways, I have 4 companies that I use here.
Right.
That's all that makes sense.
And that's what I'm just so that everyone new here really understands it. You're not using this primarily for term products, except for Protective, which is because it's a unique product.
And the illustration, the way it illustrates it.
Right.
And it allows you to put in internal, external, 1035.
Maybe you could recap the primary scenarios you're using WinFIex.
Yeah, so WinFIex, the value that it brings for me personally, with all the carriers, we have Protective. Foresters, you cannot use WinFIex through WinFIex. You have to download this WinFIex. Oh my god, it's like super. I've never used it because it drives me nuts. It reminds me of like the Commodore 64 we had at home when I was like 1. And I'm like, what?
On the Oregon Trail.
Yeah, like, I don't know, I have to like.
I think the point is you're not using.
No, we don't.
Using
I honestly don't use anything with this with Forester, so don't. I don't suggest it.
What percentage of your utilization of WinFIex is for in-house deals?
100%.
I was gonna say it seems
100%.
because you have to have all their info.
Because no, not 100. Yes and no, because depending on the client. But if it's in-house, it's rare that we have a in-house client who has a term to term product. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're either going perm to term, or if they're going term, we're going to perm. So that's the only way that I see Mess up, you see that. Otherwise, I don't know. But honestly, guys, for WinFIex, it's going to be protective. AIG, the GUL. If you don't have access to, I want to give you guys a little quick thing here. If you don't have access to your WinFIex because you don't have a contract number yet or whatever, you can use the QL Rapid Rater is going to give you the QL quotes, right, for the term. This is the way I go about it for the permanent quotes. You just type in AIG mobile quote on Google, and you're going to go with this, the AIG mobile quote. You'll also see like the Rapid Rater. Don't click on that. The AIG mobile quote is this one, and then this is the only one that lets you run quotes for the QL max accumulator, which is the IUL, and then the guarantee plus 2, which is the GUL that we use, right? Now, this one I love the way that we're able to run quotes here, because if you don't have access to WinFIex because you have to get appointed and all that jazz, you can still do quotes for your clients, in-house clients who need a permanent quote, right? So let's say we're in California, it's a 45-year-old male. He's preferred non-tobacco, he wants $100,000 monthly, and he wants to pay his premium. This is where I was telling you guys to get very knowledgeable about running these quotes specifically till this age and guaranteeing your client till that age. My client wants to pay their premium till their age 80, and then they want to guarantee till age 80, okay? Because in reality, if you pay till premium till age 80, you'll set them up so that they will have a policy till age 80, but it'll be increasing. And the guaranteed age till 80 guarantees that the premium and the guarantee will match, okay? That's crucial. So then you click quote, you generate the quote. This one's not an illustration, it's just a quote. AIG, and you read it like this. Monthly premium 71 for the QOL guarantee plus 2. California male who's 45, preferred non-tobacco, 100K. Monthly till the age of 80, guaranteed premium till the age of 80. And then you get into the QOL and the return of premium, all that jazz. But that's the way to bypass not having access to WinFIex. You could go through AIG mobile quote for the permanent ones, and then you guys know about the Rapid Rater. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Carla.
You're welcome,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Protective, AIG permanent.